all generations need to have a mission mindset, actually. So that's a huge part, among the diaspora community, which is like that's what I'm trying to work on, which is to mobilize and equip diaspora churches for missions. So the concept of all nations is not there yet. So the missions, mindset is missed, or you can see few churches who have this kind of mindset. So I think we need to maximize that, which is, if I'm not working for missions, then like raising my children in a different country becomes very challenging, because like if I'm basically first generation is raising their kids based off of the understanding they have from their home culture, which is, if they want to stuck in their home culture and don't want to risk themselves to engage in a new culture, then they really miss the opportunity of discipling their own kids for missions. So that's the missional aspect is also very important to remember in that. The other one is the first generation needs to listen to the next generation and be open for reverse mentorship. When I say reverse mentorship, I think the next generation know better about the hosting culture than the first generation. So the first generation need to learn from the next generation what it looks like to live in America, because like the first generation can shelter them like themselves in their own community, which is they can conserve their own culture, but then like it's a must for the second generation, for example, to get out, for the 1.5 generation to get out and be in the community, in the local community. So I think the next generation knows much better than the first generation about like the context that they are living in. So it's good to open up and learn from the second generation, which is going to be very challenging, especially they consider themselves to be a kind of authority figure, and you're not supposed to learn from your kids. You're the teacher. You are the instructor. It's challenging, but the reverse mentorship is very important in this case, so that we can be unified and have a very good effort for missions. So, the first generation need to give a platform for the next generation where they can grow, not only for second generation, but also for the 1.5 generation. They need to give a kind of good platform. When I say this, what I mean is that is that they need to stop babysitting and give them a church. So the concept of church is missed among the second generation. That's a huge challenge. So they have to stop this babysitting and they have to engage them in the church. So in this case, they need to have two services, which is, for example, if they are living in the States, they need to have English service and Amharic service. If their parents are from Ethiopia. So so for example, the first service can be in Amharic and the next service in English, or vice versa. But the main thing is that like parents also need to engage in the English service and disciple their own kids instead of sending them to the volunteers to disciple their kids. So they need to take the responsibility of discipling their kids and be in the same platform for the sake of the gospel. So they have to win their souls for Christ, as they are working hard to win their breads to feed their children. So I think coming to their context is very important. When I say platform, a platform for both of them. The next generation needs a church that looks like their context. This is a main point, which is like they need to open up their doors even for others to come. It makes them missional by that, like when they have English service. So actually their kids want to have their a church that looks like their context, which is when they go to school, their context is very much diverse. When they come to church, their church looks like Ethiopian. I mean, I think they should break that barrier, which is opening up a church in English invites others to come, and for the children to find their best context, which is a diverse context in the church.
Okay.
So
let me ask you another question related to that. So some might say, well, okay, these kids speak English, and so why don't they just go to the church down the street, the American church down the street?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't their parents just drop them off there, and then they go, the parents go to the Ethiopian church, and then the kids go to this other American church? What would you say to that? Why is it important to have a diverse congregation within the Ethiopian church?
Well, there's no wrong if they choose to go.
That might be okay, right?
That might be okay.
Yes.
But then, like, the benefit with that is that, like, okay, these kids are actually they grow up in different cultures, so
Mm-hmm.
this is an opportunity by itself.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want to miss that, the uniqueness of you know, as the challenge is unique, the opportunity is also unique, right, in that sense. Yeah. So we will miss the Ethiopian perspective that should bless actually this country.
Right.
So
because we want not just reverse mentorship, but we also mm-hmm. want that mentorship from the first generation to the second.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So we want actually, you know, the positive values, experiences from the first generation to impact actually the children, and also the church and the country at large. So we don't want to miss that side as well. So when it comes to, you know, this assimilation, you know, there are words like assimilation. So in that, I mean, I don't fully agree with those people who say, like, you should look like, you know, the other one, unless and otherwise you're not part of this context. Mm-hmm. But I think, especially at this time, we're living in a kind of diverse community.
Yeah. So
I think we need to appreciate this diversity that will bring a kind of value to one another, and it complements us, and it will make us whole. Especially when it comes to gospel, it will make us, like, coming from a diverse community, it will make us actually, it will help us actually to reflect Christ more, and to know him better, and to make him known better. So I think that's a huge part there. Having that Ethiopian perspective is very much helpful for the local community and beyond. So I don't know if I answer your question, but then, like,
absolutely,
I mean, it has a value to conserve and risk. I mean, both is there. I mean, you conserve for the sake of coming from a different perspective, from a different angle, so that you can benefit the other side. And also, you don't just conserve and ignore others. You risk your culture by opening up and inviting others to be with you for the sake of the gospel. And in that, you can benefit from them, and also you can they can benefit from you as well. So I think there's a purpose when God actually brings immigrants in such a way, because it will give us a kind of unique opportunity for missions and you know, to bless one another. So
I love that, and that brings it full circle to what you said first, that our challenges can also present unique opportunities for us, and there are such unique opportunities for diaspora churches in the U.S. today. I'm so glad that you are involved in equipping and empowering people in diaspora churches, and thank you so much for your time today and sharing your perspective with us.
Thank you, Jesse.
All right.
Talk
to you later.
All right, thank you.
Bye.